All right, my man Calvin Johnson. This is one of my favorite wide receivers for the Detroit Lions, man. It was on a recent podcast just talking about the pros and cons of being a football player. And recently, with Calvin Johnson was really discovering that how ineffective Detroit Lions were as far as investing in the player's health. Now, there really wasn't any type of nutritionist in the organization. I believe he retired in 2016, and he went on to a journey to play, or not play, but I'm sorry, to actually see about the organizations such as the Miami Dolphins, the Oakland Raiders, and see what they do and investing in their players. And he said, even though they're underperforming, after his retirement, it's not like he was trying to join, but he noticed that they had a nutritionist. And, the licensed nutritionists and dietitians, they were very responsible and put in a key factor in a diet plan for players to be very successful, not only on the field, but off the field as well. And he just felt like it was just, even though the Detroit Lions is owned by the Ford, it's $1 billion organization, these people make a whole lot of money, but you're really undervaluing your players. You want them to go out here and perform at high levels, but you don't have a licensed nutritionist. Now, people who work in fire departments and, the police department or the military, and something that's in physical value, you have to have the initial discipline to go ahead and see, okay, what type of stuff I need to put in my body, the type of diet, the strict diets, get rid of unhealthy foods so I can, be 100% ready and alert. But, at the same time, man, I do kind of agree with Calvin Johnson on that because, it was countless of times that when he had a broken clavicle or he had a broken finger and they still want him to play the game. And he was talking about various concussions. I remember one time he had a concussion so bad and they still want him to play because they had an opportunity in that particular time to make it to the playoffs. So he was such a high value target, man, with Matthew Stafford. So Detroit Lions fans know this. He was a huge cause for Detroit Lions in the postseason, man. The few times that they went under Jim Caldwell. But I mean, at the same time though, it is kind of like on the players too to really have that initial discipline to consume the type of foods that they need because you are in a high working value working environment. I mean, ever since you played college, high school, I mean, you gotta have. I believe college may have like a nutritionist team. I'm not sure, but in high school football, you're going home, you gotta make sure, if your parents is cooking the right type of meals, all these type of things. If you're going in foster care, what's the diet plan? And it's up to you to understand, like, okay, I need this type of iron, I need, these fruits and vegetables, these grains that I need in my body to perform really well. So it's sort of like in many other jobs. I mean, they can give you the initial motivation to do it, but they can't force you to do anything. Maybe that's probably what a lot of Detroit Lions fans are maybe kind of frustrated on, because I'm like, hey, we already having a down season right now with Matt Patricia. They're underperforming with Matt Patricia. They haven't made it to the playoffs yet with Matt Patricia, man. So, and then here come, Calvin Johnson just maybe talking negative about the team. I can see where they're coming from. But, from his player's point of view, I mean, all organizations like Oakland Raiders, Miami Dolphins, Bills, they have a nutritionist. You have the Ford family that owns the Detroit Lions, making billions of dollars. $1 billion organization should be no shape or form that they don't have a good nutritionist, because his argument was, oh well, it's people coming out of college and they might not know what to put in their body. So I mean, I don't know, like it depends, if you come from D1 or anything, but it is kind of frustrating though. I mean, as far as the Detroit Lions, you really want them to be very successful, but people say it's the ownership. And they have like good, decent players. They have a decent defense. I mean, hell, they beat the Chargers, man. Well, that's what poor precision with Phillip Rivers. He actually threw a last minute interceptions. But I mean, I always respect the Detroit Lions, man. But not a huge fan of them, but I respect them, man. I mean, they always trying to find a way to crawl back in. And the NFC North is very tough. And going with the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, and you have the Minnesota Vikings. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be a really interesting year for them. But Calvin Johnson may have a little point there, but it is kind of odd that they don't have one. But I know Bob Quinn, I believe he found a way to actually employ people that were licensed and masters of putting in the right foods in their bodies and stuff like that. So I just think overall it's just a lack of investing in the player's health. That's all it is, and that's just pretty much he just got really fed with it, and he was like, hey man, this organization just cares about money. It's really interesting. So I'm gonna put the link in the description box. You guys can read it yourself though. But I really respect Calvin Johnson in the way he carried himself for with Detroit Lions, and just every time he just got there on the field, man, like Megatron, bro. Like seriously, he influenced a lot of wide receivers. Him coming out of Georgia, and a very smart individual, man. I watched a documentary about him, how he promised his mother that he was going to get his education. So this is a man to value, man, and he's doing good with the training camp with the kids, and he's a good guy, man, on and off the field. But he has a good point. So I just want to see what you guys think about it, man. My sports fans, maybe some Lions fans come in here. Is Calvin Johnson wrong, or he's just being a baby? What is it? It is what it is, But that's my thoughts on it. You guys continue to like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Deuces.